Waka, what's up, and welcome back to the channel for yet another FC Finch video. And it is yet another year come and gone, so I figure it is time for the annual collection overview here that we do at the FC Finch channel. If you've been with us before, this is I think like the third or fourth one, so there have been a few revisions over the years, and of course just giving you an idea of what space I have, how I utilize that space. So just to kind of give you an update, I do live in a condo at this moment in my life. You'll have to excuse any mess. This room doubles as my filming studio, my office, my sleeping area, and of course my collection room and the living room for myself and the Admiral. So, but either way, we're going to go through all of these displays in a little bit here, just each one individually, a kind of brief overview, if you will, of everything that I have set up at the moment. Some stuff still in storage, but this is everything that I have out right now. So, anyway, if you're new to the channel, I hope you enjoy this video, and of course, like and subscribe. I do greatly appreciate it. It does help me out, and let's get on with the collection overview, and we're going to start off on this side of the room. And starting off, we'll go over the Eagle Moss stuff that I have in my collection. Just FYI, I have kind of moved some of it out. You'll see that the displays, if you've seen this before, my display is a bit lighter. That's because I have kind of put a few smaller ships in storage in lieu of keeping the bigger ships out. And of course, my screensaver on that's doing my fan service just kind of fell out of place. But you can see that I basically have a Rudsta case acting as my stand for our TV. And we'll just start going through everything. And at the top, you can see basically just a display of all my enterprises that I have on hand here. Of course, the C, the B, the E, and of course the A, which as I understand has gotten to be quite a rare model. And of course, we got the new Stargazer right there on display. I have a few of the smaller Fs on display, but those will probably go in the storage once issue 4 of the new Phantom collection comes out. And moving down, again, my very scaled down DS9 display. For those that don't know, DS9 is my favorite entry into the Star Trek franchise, so of course I keep a few more ships dedicated to that franchise. Got the XL Akira class, got a Nebula class, and of course a Pez dispenser set I got from a friend. Anything that I typically get from a friend, you know, just to things that just who knows I like Star Trek and whatnot. I usually try and put that on display in areas of prominence, since I do very much value all the stuff that I get for free from friends of mine, and it's very much a labor of love, and I do appreciate it. And coming down to the bottom, display that is very much thinned out. Got the XL Stargazers, a few of my miscellaneous, the XL Excelsior, and of course the Luna class USS Titan from Lower Decks. Of course, we have the Prometheus XL and Voyager XL, along with the Rick Sternbach concept. And moving on, a few of our smaller ships, as we got the NX-01 Doug Drexler concept with that secondary hull, one of my favorite ships in my collection. And of course, we have the USS Bonaventure. And we're going to move on to our alien ships. Now we'll go over the newest addition to my collection real quick. I have to give a huge shout out to Mr. Germain off of the Transformers forums, who got me hooked on these Beauty For You display cases off of Amazon. Honestly, I wish I would have gone on these from the start. They have a lot more room and look a lot more elegant. Real quick at the top, you'll see some schematics of the USS Enterprise refit. I actually found these at a drafting job that I had many years ago. They were just lying in a drawer, and I'm like, hey, can I make a copy of these and have them? They were like, yeah. So anyway, going to the top, of course, I have the I think this was a Barbie anniversary for Star Trek characters. My parents gave me these a while ago. Got a yellow shirt, a gold shirt, beer koozie, Hot Wheels USS Enterprise. There's the one out of the package next to the, I believe this was Diamond Select, Kirk, Spock, and McCoy. It was a 3-pack. Then, of course, we have an autographed photo that I got from my aunt long ago, and a murder mystery aboard the USS Enterprise that I got from a friend. And moving down the last of the Eagle Moss, of course, we have our alien ships, have the XL Katinga class, of course the Discovery D7. That's one of my favorite ships from Discovery. So glad they brought that back. It just looks so cool. Moving down, of course, we have the D4 concept, I believe. We have the Vorshaw class, which is my favorite class of Klingon ship. Then, of course, we have the Valdor, one of my favorite Romulan ships, ironically. And then, for some added flavor, we have the Scimitar, and we have the Sona command ship. Of course, this may get replaced with the Shrike when it comes out of the Fan Home collection. And, of course, we have the Romulan Warbird XL, which is on the first level because I do not trust the stand for this thing. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the Star Trek collection overall. And moving on to the rest of the Beauty For You display cabinet, we'll get started on the Transformers, starting with the movie bots. This is where I kind of move them in at the top. Of course, we have the Bumblebee display that I'm trying to get finished up, hopefully with the TMT, whatever it is, the 0304 that's coming out this year, but that's the Magnificent Mecha MM01, and of course the Ratchet oversized Studio Series knockoff. Not sure if I'll replace him with another character when he comes out, but of course this is one of my favorite characters in my collection, that Magnificent Mecha. I can't wait till the MM02 comes out, hopefully sometime next year or the year after. Moving down, of course, we got my Black Apple down here. He is like still an awesome figure. He's a KO, but a very, very good KO. And right below him, the LT02 in truck mode, along with the AOE Mecha Silver Phantom, or a knockoff Jazz. One of the few knockoffs of the movie about, but they're very well done knockoffs. And there we go down there. And then, of course, moving down to the movie Decepticons, got Blackout and Brawl down there, getting ready to launch a payload at some Autobots. And, of course, a really awesome figure from Metagate. Oh, man, I forget its name. Red Fantasy, I think it was. And then the Monocrat Megatank. Starting to lose my train of thought with all these third-party names. Of course, just take on a Bumblebee Megatron, and that is just an awesome Megatron figure. Gun mode be damned. And that's pretty much for our movie bots. And we'll start off on the opposite side of the room with our G1 Decepticons, as this is the primary brunt of my collection. Of course, we have the Admiral's stuffed fleet on top, and of course, Megatron likes fluffy characters. And so we'll get started on the Season 1 Decepticons, or mostly the Season 1 Decepticons. And of course, on the top, we have the MP52 versions of Mr. Skywarp and Thundercracker. I actually prefer these versions to the Deformation Space. I know a lot of people tend to prefer the Deformation Space, but I actually prefer these. They're the transformation is much more intuitive, and they come with a lot more accessories. Coming on down, of course, we do have the new supply, the Washington or Lincoln Memorial set, along with the Fans Toys Soundwave and a bunch of his little critters flying out. And then, of course, we have Ravage down there, part of the RP-01B set. We got MP52 Starscream, and Fans Toys take on Astro Train. He'll probably move to a different setup once their Blitzwing comes out next year sometime. And, of course, my Megatron IT-01 KO. But, of course, I will be getting in on the official MP36 re-release, which I'm told will be next year. And then on the bottom, since my Toy World Devastator has disassembled himself, there's the Toy World Constructicons just kind of hanging out in vehicle mode. And starting off on our Season 2 and Beyond Decepticons, of course, we have a set that I was never initially going to go in on, the Fans Toys version of the Decepticon Headmasters, and these ended up just being too cool of paint schemes. The figures are very, very cool, so and they display so well. Of course, I've added the RP-02, the Sound Blaster, to the set, along with a few of his minions that did show up in Season 3, but I just decided to put them in with the Headmaster set since they feel like they make more sense there. And then moving down, of course, we have the Heralds of Unicron display with all Fans Toys versions of Galvatron, Cyclonus, and Scourge. Scourge newly acquired this year, and again, a really cool figure, and he finishes out the display so well. And of course, their Quietus mold, definitely have the 2019 and the 29, because it's a mold so nice you buy it twice. And got their little Target Masters. I don't really care about the Target Masters too much, but they kind of fill out the display. And coming down, we have the Ocular Max Combaticons, which I did collect all of. And I know I said I wasn't going to get doubles of any character, but those Magic Square ones look quite enticing. So we may see this display changing by next year. But this set still displays quite well, in my opinion. And of course, we have basically the start of a new display. He's by himself, but the Fans Toys Constructicons, we have their Gary out there, tooting his horn, getting ready to summon the rest of the Constructicons, which we'll hopefully start seeing over the next couple years. And that's pretty much it for all of our Decepticons. So we're going to move to the other side of the room to our Autobots. And starting off with our Autobots, so I pretty much have this arranged by order of seasons, except for the Dinobots, which kind of get a display case of their own, because if you hadn't guessed, I very much love the Dinobots. So first off, we'll start with everything on the top. And of course, we have the 40th anniversary movie popcorn bucket and cups. I've never actually eaten or drank anything out of these. I just bought them to display up there. Of course, we have the Aurelio photo of my Corvette done as a transformer, which is still a pretty cool artwork that he did. And then of course we have the My Little Pony Optimus Prime, the My Little Prime, and then of course we have one of the DVD sets on display, even though you can watch these all on YouTube. And of course the chess set, as well as some of my mainline figures, which are still in the box. I will take these out at some point if I get a smaller display cabinet. And we'll move right on to the Season 2 bots. So let me get the cabinet open right here. And at the top, we have pretty much a display of a lot of our Season 2 truck bots. Of course, we have Inferno, Fans Toys, Perceptor, and Hoist, and the newly acquired Grapple, which is, again, this mold is one of Takara's best, so I'm so glad I could get my hands on this character at an affordable price this year. Next up, going down to a lot of our other Season 2 Autobots, Mr. Blaster moved down the shelf. I believe the only one that's Takara here is Mr. Skids, of course, which is a fine enough mold on itself. But of course, we have Power Glide from Fans Toys, their Warthog. We have the X-Transbots, Cosmos, which is arguably one of X-Transbots' best figures. Then, of course, we have Sea Spray from Fans Toys and Blaster and all those little cassettes from Fans Toys. And then moving down to a display that will hopefully be completed next year, the Ocular Max Protectobots. Again, Ocular Max just kills it with these combiner bots, so I really cannot wait to get Blades and put them right back there, right behind Mr. Streetwise and First Aid. So anyway, that is going to be our Season 2 Autobots. And moving on to our Season 1 Autobots, of course, we have pretty much half Fans Toys, half official Takara up there. Actually looking on replacing the Prowl with the MP17 Plus reissue, but of course we have Fans Toys Trailbreaker and Mr. Sideswipe might get replaced with the new DX9 that's coming out. That looks pretty cool. Of course, Mr. Fans Toys Hunk or Brawn over here has a 3D printed steel beam that is, of course, from the Ultimate Doom series. I had JJ 3D print me one of these, and he's just holding a yellow piece right now, but that should be repainted purple, hopefully sometime next year, as soon as I feel like getting around to it. And then, of course, moving down to the main level, we have MP44 on display. Yeah, he's honestly still my favorite Master Beast Prime. We'll see what happens when the Fans Toys comes out next year, or maybe 2026, but I still prefer this over any of the Magic Squares. Then, of course, we have the Takara Jetfire, and then Fans Toys Mirage, Jazz, and Cliff Jumper. And we have, of course, all of the MP44 on display, because when you spend that much of a figure, you find a way to display everything and get your money's worth. And then moving down, we have a bunch of the mini bots. We got Ironhide, of course, and then we have Mr. Blue Streak, the Plus version of him, since he's more cartoon accurate. And then we have the half Fans Toys mini-bots, half X-Transbots. Hoping Fans Toys comes out with a Wind Charger. Please give us a Wind Charger, Fans Toys, this is really not an awesome figure. Anyway, and then moving down to where the Aerial Bots will currently sit, the Fans Toys Aerial Bots. Hoping to finish this set off early next year, but of course we have their Viper, and I forget what the last one's name is. I can't remember their cartoon names offhand, but they're just kind of chilling down there. Really great set down here. I cannot wait to complete it. And lastly but not least, of course, we have our Dinobots display, and we of course have the Giga Power Dinos displayed on top in their Dino modes. Again, these is just a great set. I'm not sure they're gonna make these anymore. They reissued a lot of them a couple of years ago, and most of these are the reissues, but I don't know if they're actually gonna come out with another set. But of course, I managed to get my hands on all of them. I hear Mr. Grossor is the hard one to find, but of course these are all displayed in their Dino mode. Again, great set here. They display so well in either mode. And then, since I really couldn't decide what versions of the Dinobots I like. I, of course, got the Fans toys as well. Just need to get Fans toys now, but of course we have Grimlock in his robot mode at the top, and then of course we have Wheeljack and Ratchet, his proverbial dads, of course, and Wheeljack is actually holding the conductor beams that came with the buzzworthy Bumblebee, just because, again, they seem to hold well in the Masterpiece, so that's what I kind of use them for. And then, of course, we have Mr. Ratchet, who may actually get replaced with Fans Toys Doc next year, but we'll see how that goes. And then at the bottom, we have the rest of our Fans Toys Dinobots, again, just waiting on their Snarl, but these guys look really good, too. They have a few loose bits, but I honestly can't really decide which ones I like better versus the Giga Power. I honestly think these are both solid sets, and you really can't go wrong. A lot of people like to say, oh no, this set is definitively better, and I simply can't agree. I think both sets of Dinobots are really, really good. And moving on to our last display set for the Autobots, of course, they have an Optimus Appreciation Shelf in the detail of the new SS86 Optimus Prime, along with his roller. And of course, we have the Hot Wheels Optimus inside and outside of the package. And then our current missing Link display right back there until I find a better place to put them. And on the bottom and the second shelf, we of course have our Master Force display going. Hopefully Cap should be here soon, so expect that review coming soon, and as well as the MPG-09 Super Jinrai. So hopefully I can fit them all into this little area, and this will be my Master Force display. Just a small little dedication to this series. Really great figures here, though. Just got in on Fans Hobby this year, and again, I am not disappointed. And then moving down, of course, we have the Magic Square Optimus, my kind of secondary shelf. Not sure if, he's going to go somewhere when the Fans Toys gets here, but right now he displays relatively well with the knockoff Reximus Prime Grimlock, which is really great for the money. Again, if you can't afford the Giga Power or the Fans Toys, this is a really solid deviation for the cost. And of course, we have the Fans Toys Jive X, again, a really great representation of Jazz. A mold so nice, you buy it twice, and I just love that he has all of the Martini Racing livery on there. Again, I'm a big car guy, so I love seeing the classic racing livery. And on the bottom shelf, we have the Lego Optimus Prime. And again, this was a great, fun build project, but the joints definitely don't hold up over time. Hopefully, we'll get the Lego Bumblebee in there with him at some point. And moving on to our random shelving, just at the top, of course, we have our model kit, which will actually get started on this year at some point. I got it from the Gundam factory at Yokohama. Actually has the Gundam that is Yokohama right behind the Gundam. So if you haven't been to Yokohama, Japan, or if you have, you'll recognize some attributes from that city, but that is the Gundam is hovering over. And then, of course, we have our little Yoshi Plus, who I found for sale at Ross for like $5. Just had to pick them up. And then, of course, we have all of the beer can collectibles. I do have the commemorative glasses, but I wanted to keep the beer cans, of course, from the four hands or whatever it is, beer. They did a beer compilation. They do have issue number 7 on the way, and I believe my buddy Tim O did pick me up a set of that, as well as the commemorative glass. So again, really cool set here. They're mostly IPAs, which is a little bit of a bummer, but at least the majority of them are very tasty. And then moving on to the first detail, let me get the shelf open here. We, of course, have the RoboCop display. This is the NECA Toys RoboCop. I may get the Mafex at some point, but these still do display quite well, despite their limited articulation, which, again, RoboCop had limited articulation, so I can't fault them too much. And then on the bottom, we, of course, have the NECA ED209, which is a really solid update to it. I had the old toy as a child, so this is a really nice update. I really like this figure. And the Hiya Toys, I apologize, they're RoboCop 2, just a very smallish figure, but still displays quite well, and lots of little unexpected articulation. And then, of course, we have the junkiest figures in my collection. I am not kidding, the Kyoto and Zebek Evangelion set. Again, we got Unit 1, Unit 2, and Unit 3. These figures are just terrible. Again, they fell apart. I'm not sure it was 20-year-old plastic or just bad plastic in general, but these figures just kind of fell apart. I may actually replace them with something more sturdy as time goes on, but they are still holding a spot in my collection. Got a little Pen plushie and then an Ava 2 plushie down on the bottom shelf. And moving on to our final random detail, of course, we have the 3-0 Green Ranger and the Legacy believe it was the Legacy Dragon dagger on display. Finally pulled out of the box and created a little Jason David Frank tribute right there. And then we got a separate shelf finally for our Battlestar Galactica figures. I actually moved this detail from the other side of the robe from Eagle Moss. So we got the new Galactica from Bling Chrome, the Pegasus, and of course the Valkyrie and the little Cylon. Hopefully get the rest of the Colonial Fleet at some point from Eagle Moss. And moving down to yet our Stargate display, which I was able to fill out a bit more this year. We got the Daedalus, the Prometheus, and of course the Goa'uld mothership. And down at the bottom we have some of the Gundam Universe figures, along with my, oh, got my finger in there, along with my model kit that I put together many moons ago. He is kind of in pieces. Sorry for the dust. I have not had a chance to clean everything for the past month. But again, these are still cool figures. As somebody who collected the Mobile Suit in Action line many moons ago, I think they still do a solid job. And last but not least, got a random collection of Star Wars stuff. We'll go over some of the wall art first. So this is actually given to me by a former roommate, just a very nice kind of tapestry type picture of the original series of Star Trek, and then of course a movie poster from Star Trek 4 gifted to me by my friend Eric out on the West Coast. Again, really cool art, really cool movie poster. And then again, I have more Star Wars stuff in storage, but this is what I have on display right now. Of course, we have the Biggs and Wedge. Let's see, it was like a, I forget, I think this was an, yeah, this is an FAO Shorts exclusive. It's right there on the box. And then of course we have the Rebel Pilots. I again really like the Rebel Pilot type motif. We have the Snow Speeder, and of course have to display the AT-AT Walker. This is actually, this thing is like, I got this when I was like 14 years old. It's still a cool figure. And then, of course, moving on to the side here, we have a Wampa plush toy next to a lunchbox that I believe a manager gifted to me at my place of employment. And then we have Luke with Wampa as well, that 2-pack down there. And moving on to the second shelf, we do have a classic set of the original re-released figures back from like the 90s. We of course have Jabba's Dancers and part of the Max Rebo band in a 2-pack. And then I believe this was a Star Wars Fan Club exclusive, the Ula and Salicious Crumb. Have the Lego Snow Speeder as well as a Yoda plush, and a gift from JJ, the Star Wars Celebration Darth Vader, which is a really cool talking figure. And moving down, of course, I displayed the DVD and VHS releases of the original Star Wars trilogy. I actually haven't watched these in a long time because they're all available on Disney Plus and other mediums, but they're right next to my A-Wing, which I've had on display for some time, and the Y-Wing, which I recently took out of the box late last year, so that thing's still on display next to my A-Wing. And then on the bottom, of course, we have my Darth Vader slippers and a bunch of the sequel series figures. Again, I know not many like the sequels, but I'm okay with them. Okay enough to display some of their products. Plus, these were a gift from my parents, so they are definitely staying on the shelf. And that is pretty much it for the collection. So that'll about wrap everything up. I hope you found this video fun, because it sure as hell probably wasn't all that informative. But nevertheless, if you found this video enjoyable and you are not yet subscribed, consider subscribing to my channel. I do greatly appreciate it. It does help out, as well as leaving a like if you enjoyed this brief tour of my humble little collection. And hopefully going to be going strong with the reviews very early in 2025. I already have our first one posted up to YouTube, so it's just a matter of that getting out and getting published. But other than that, thank you all so much. I gained about 250 subscribers this year, which for a channel of my size that I really don't advertise, I am extremely grateful for. So thank you so much for joining me on this magical quest of mine. I have been FC Finch. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for making me a part of your collecting journey. Good night.